usual. Checkaroni, Restream sees us. Does Twitch see us? Twitch is twitching. Are you twitching? Are you twitching me though? Nothing yet. YouTube is connecting. Alright, YouTube sees me. Can it hear me? Can you hear me, YouTube? Oh, yep. Twitch. Nothing yet. Let me refresh. And yes, can we hear me? Hello? Yep, there we go. Welcome to Code Hangout number 223, where I'm going to look into implementing the ISS puzzle format, which is the interactive Sudoku solver, which is available at somewhere here, sci.github.io/interactive Sudoku solver. I'll actually paste that. Hey Keith, how are you doing? I'll check it. I'll paste it in the chat. I don't know if I can paste links in the chat. Let's see. Let's check out the interactive Sudoku solver, which is a neat little puzzle solver / creator tool, which has quite a few constraints available. I haven't heard of it before, but I haven't been paying super much attention, I'll be honest. I don't know how it compares to Sudoku Maker. But it has a very simple format, and I thought I'll add it to the puzzle importer tool. Okay, the link seems to work. Cool. Before we get started, I have a few small items I want to check out. First of all and I'm gonna use this here quickly. I recently updated the screenshot tool, and I have a report that there's an issue where the digits get shifted over like that. And I'm guessing the format doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we can sort that out first. Currently, I have also this little check in. Yeah, I did that the other day. Kind of a small update to the rules text parser to add some basic markdown. I'm actually including about a K of code that's a full markdown parser, but I'm only applying sort of the inline parsing part to the rules split, hey Chameleon, into separate lines just to avoid some issues it seems to have. For example, I had a rules text with bulleted asterisks, which got turned into emphasis tags, so this parser is not correct. I'm happy to give it a try out, but I'll do that as a separate update. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the utilities file, to my desktop somewhere, probably up here where I usually keep these files. And then I can revert that change, and I probably should just pop it. You know what? Let's do it correctly. I haven't used git push and pop in a while. My brain is a little bit empty how it works. Git... What is it called? Push, pop... What's it? Git stash. Yeah, there we go. Git stash. There might even be something in the stash already. Are we in the folder? I don't know why this always takes so long to start up. Alright. Git stash list. Who knows? Okay. So currently the only change is this file. So I should just be able to git stash that, right? Git stash. So git stash, when you want to record the current state of the working directory and the index, but want to go back to a clean working directory. The command saves your local modifications away, reverts the working directory to match the head commit. I don't know if git stash works with untracked files. Does git stash work on untracked files? I think there's a way of doing it though. So if I do this, so if I say git stash -u, why is it taking so long? That makes me nervous. Why is that taking so long? Warning below for warnings. There seems to be a in which contents of ignored directory could be deleted permanently. Ugh. Wait, git stash dash u is slow. Why is it so slow? Am I expecting to see git's activities? I'm not seeing it here. It could be that it's going through all the files. Like, why does it take so long? Is it because that's probably because I have so many files. Because now I think all the puzzle, ooh, okay. Git stash list. Did this file disappear? It did. Well, it's done now. No, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Do I have the file open? Yeah, that's not it, huh? Can I pull it out of here, maybe? Just in case, because I don't know what the hell's going on here. If I take this and search for markdown parse, okay, it exists here. So I'm gonna keep a hold of this for a sec here, and see if git stash pop works. If I do this, right, that should bring it back. Yeah, I should have just copied the file like I was originally planning to do. Is it back? Okay, I think it's back. Let's just... it worked, but that was a bit dicey there. So I'm gonna make a copy of this file. And then I'm just gonna say... discard changes here. And now... we should have it clean. And we can do some debugging on the screenshot feature, which lives in the features, in the screenshot features file. Let's have a quick look. Now the problem is the update I did to the screenshot feature tool, which actually wasn't in the feature file, which was in the puzzle tools where I have the helper functions for doing all of that. Puzzle tools. This code, it's not a lot of code, but it changes quite a bit how I'm pulling the CSS out of the working page. And basically the main change I've done here. Oh, hey myself, how are you? It is on Play Store. It's just not available in all things because I have some... I'm behind on some papers that they want me to upload and whatnot. So, which will probably wait till I have the update to the app as well. So the main change I've done is to actually use get computed style, because the custom colors are not present in the style sheet per se, but they're injected sort of at runtime, which means, you know, just reading out the style sheet data from the document doesn't do the right thing. So I changed it to using get computed style, but obviously that does something else not correctly. And one of the problems I have is it's not actually very easy to see what it does differently, short of pulling the whole style out. So the main difference is here. So this is what used to happen, right? And this is what's happening now. So what I can do is I can output both style A, and we're gonna do the old version, which is basically this. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull these two pieces of text into my editor here, and then just run a diff on it and see if that is useful in any way. I think I'll have to do this. Yes. And these come out as a long array of individual things. All right, so we want to join them with new lines, I'm guessing. And now, do we get two pieces of text that I can copy? So we have one here, which is basically the second one, so that's the new one. And this should be the old one. And now I should be able to shift click and say diff selected, right? And it should give us a diff between these two. And we'll probably see a lot of stuff like this. And one of the problems I have is that the order isn't guaranteed, right? There's a lot of things different. Okay, Now the question is it just the ordering that's different? There's a lot of gaps in here as well. Why are there so many gaps? That's kind of interesting. Are these just missing? So the gaps are from the new version, right? Probably what we can do actually is maybe compare them item by item. So what we can do is... Right, so we can do something like this. Let CSS rules equal basically this thing, because that's the same for both. Right? And then we can do for const rule of CSS rules, we'll do this. And we'll say let CSS1 equals rule.csx text. Right, and CSS2 equals rule to CSS text rule. Right. And then we can say if one is not equal to CSS2, debugger console.1 .log rule CSS1 CSS2. And that should, it should go one by one through them. And probably the first one isn't going to be super useful. Right? So for example, something like this. The computed style comes out as white. Probably because it's been modified? That's actually kind of interesting. Well, it's not super interesting. But let's say if we look at body, and we look at background color, it's a variable, right? And the variable is currently FFFF. So this is actually the correct value according to the current configuration. I'm thinking, how can I present this? Like, if I do something like this instead, and then instead of stopping, I'll just keep going. Now, there'll be a lot of these, but maybe we can glean something useful. So we have CSS1, CSS2. All right, so let's have a look at when CSS2 is empty. Right, so if CS2... Right, so let's look at it only when CSS2 is empty. And there's a lot of these, right? And I don't know if they are causing the problem. So the question is, in these cases, what happens here, right? So let's have a look at the first one. So we have a rule, right? We're checking if style is undefined, which it isn't. And here we can say, I guess we could just do break for now. So, okay, so we can maybe break this down a little bit. So we have our selector text. And then we'll have an element. Right? And then finally we'll have computed style. And the question is, if computed style comes, because I can just fall back to this if computed style comes back empty. That could be like the cheap way of doing it. Aha. So element is undefined. And I'm checking for element is equal to null. Oh. So wait a second, why? Why does this not come back? Because some of these styles are just not used anymore. Like, it comes back as null. Why does it come back as undefined here? Why? Oh. Okay, wait. So maybe it is coming back as null. Null. Okay. So when the element is null, we're returning an empty string. I think we probably want to return this. I think the thought process was that if the element doesn't exist on the page, we don't need a style for it. Let's switch it up. Let's replace this part with returning the original rule text and see if that fixes the issue. Because I was thinking, like, this is basically a optimization. So if I just return this, I can still have that optimization, right? So if we do this, and we'll do screenshot, it breaks get computed style. Yeah, we can just skip this for now. Yeah, so that's still centered. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do rules text 0. So we have rule to CSS text and then rules to CSS text 1. So this is our original. And now we're kind of trying to build a new quote unquote better one. No, we don't need to do that for now. Never mind. This just means that's not the issue. It being an empty element, empty line doesn't actually mean anything. So probably what we want to do then is we want to filter them out. Map rule to CSS RE style filters. We'll probably, if we probably want to do this. If equals null, continue. Right? So let's see if this happens for anything where it's not just coming back as an empty string, first of all. It doesn't. Okay, so there are specific styles where it changes it. Okay. All right, so it's a more complex issue than I thought. It's actually there's some combination of injected computed styles that change it here but not here. And I'm wondering if it's related to the SVG here having its own... One of the big problems is that the SVG is getting rendered in a sort of blank context, while here it's part of the whole page. So I'm trying to pull in all the page styles to make it look and work the same. But you know, doesn't work that well. Let's do this after all. So we're gonna do a rules text 0, which basically does this, but it never returns. It never runs this code. And that's our stand-in for the first method, right? So we'll just run this and we'll run the second one, right? Like that. And right now they show, whoops, they don't show any differences when the element is not null. No, wait. Oh, no. Okay. Back to this. Right? We'll do this. Actually, we'll do this. And then we'll do if element. Actually, we'll do this. Then we'll do that. And then we'll do that. And then we don't need to do this. And now we should find a rule that's different. Yes, okay, here we go. So something like this color, for example. Right. We should still get a bunch of rules that are different and aren't empty. Right. Now the problem is it's not easy for me to figure out which particular change caused the problem. So what I think what I might actually do is I might actually do a binary search, right? So I can say, okay, how many of these discrepancies do we have? And I'll say, okay, include the first half of these discrepancies, see if we still have the problem, you know, that kind of thing, right? So let me think. What I'm tempted to do is, we'll skip this here for a sec. What I'm gonna do here is filter. Now these are all rules, right? But now we're just gonna say we'll just run this, right? And that should filter out all the ones that would otherwise be blank. And then we can say, okay, the log, CS rules, dot length, gosh, like that. We're not even gonna do this for now. And then instead of doing this down here, we're actually just gonna use this, which will make it a bit easier. And then we can do CSS rules .map.filter, something like that. And we already have pre-filtered it by this stuff. Now here we're doing a bunch of other things. Okay. Where did I get it wrong? Style rules, style sheets. That dot up here doesn't make any sense. After argument list. Missing one extra brace. All right. Screenshot. Okay. Query spoke. All right, let's try that again. All right. We get 143 rules. And now we'll say, we'll just say check number, right? So, let check n equals 0. So if it's 0, we'll say from 0 onwards, we'll use the old system, right? So now we'll do, instead of this, we'll do something like this. Rule IDX, boom. And then we'll say IDX is smaller than check n. Then we use, nope, we'll use 0. right? Else we'll use the new one. And since IDX is never gonna be, I think we want to do greater. Never gonna be greater than check n. No, it's always gonna be greater check n. It should now work because it's using the old algorithm. Right. So now if I make this 70, we'll see if it's broken again. It's broken. Okay, so it's in the first 70. If I make it 35, it's working. Okay, so it's between 35 and 70. Is it between 60 and 70? Okay, that's not exactly binary, but you know, yes. So it's between 35 and 60. So is it between 50 and 60? No, it's been 35 and 50. It's been 40 and 50? Yes. Is it between 45 and 50? Yeah, but it's been 40 and 45. Okay. Okay, it's been 40 and 43. Okay, it's been 40 and... Well, it's 43 has the problem. 42... No, 43 doesn't have the problem. 44... No problem. And 45, I think we already confirmed it had the problem. Whoops. Yes. So at if we use the new rules from 44 onwards, we don't have the problem. Yes. Okay. So we care about CSS rules number 44. So slice 44, 45. Right? I keep pressing the wrong buttons. So that is the rule that causes the issue, huh? 3 REM versus font size 48 pixels. Really? All right, so the question is, if we do it just for this one, I think we have to do it one before, right? Because I was checking if... Because there could be other rules that break it again, right? I wanted to see if this is the only rule that causes this. It seems to. So if we're only changing element 44, okay. All right, for let IDX, you know, here, IDX, and, length, IDX plus. So if I do this, right, and then say if IDX equals 45, or is not equals to 45, continue, right? And otherwise, we'll just do this. So we're just gonna look at element 45. 0, IDX not less than CSS rules.length, IDX plus plus. So, screenshot. Rule is not defined. Let rule equals bloop, IDX. Come on, I remember how to program somewhere in the bottom of my mind. Okay, so that is where the change occurs. And that makes a lot of sense because it's messing with the text anchoring. Okay, now the question is, where does this get changed? So, can I find what changes get computed style in CSS? Is there a way of figuring out the history of a change? So if there's any basic computation like calc or otherwise, browser defaults in it. What change can options return progress live? So I guess it could just be in the cascade, but then it should still apply. Let's just have a look at this style sheet for a sec. One sec. My hands are getting cold. Is my fan here running too hard? I think so. So if we look at cell values, cell values here. So that's a piece of text, right? So that should have that style. And the style we're interested in is just on this element, SVG render text, right? Okay. So hashtag #SVG render text. Like, I don't see a specific style with that selector here. Like, there's a text selector. Ah, here we go. All right, so we're looking at this. And I might as well bring it up. So that's line 604 in the basic style sheet. Okay, so 604. So it's this style that's being modified, right? So that's the original text anchor thing. And now we got to figure out where the computed change comes from. So for example, text anchor, anchor gets changed. Where? Middle, it gets changed to start, but I don't see where. Now that could be a change that's done in code. I'm trying to think what would do that. And it could be any of the features. And I was hoping if it's a feature, I would see it here, but this is the original. And here right now, it says text anchor middle. And of course it does, because here it is correct. So why would it come back as not text anchor middle? Okay, so if I do document.get query selector hashtag SVG renderer text, right? Isn't that what happens? So if I do this, and then I'll say window.get computed style of this, get computed style. Sorry, this is off the edge of the screen. It shouldn't be. So then we get this whole style declaration, right? And we are looking at a specific one, namely anchor something. So wait a second. In our function here, what happens exactly? We're getting the computed styles here, and then we're pulling out the property values from this style, each of these. All right. So and the specific property we're caring about is text anchor, was it? Text anchor. All right. So if I then say .get property value text anchor start. Okay. Start, is that a word I can search for? Probably a bit of a waste of time. Is there something that's more specific, like 0px stroke width? But that French stroke line cap but text anchor. What if I search for colon start? Text anchor colon start. Okay, so that's being pulled in from the cage label. Why does that apply to this? It probably doesn't. All right, let's look at for all of these then. How many times does this happen? Twice. Cage label. Cage label. Twice for cage label. Oh, okay, it's production staging. Okay, we want to search just here. So that's the only place. if I comment this out, do we still find it in our computed style? Yes. Align item start, text anchor start. Alright, so this is a bit of a problem now because it's not being put in by any of the files here. That doesn't mean it couldn't be added programmatically. I'm just thinking, yeah, it could even be added in this way, for example. Could it be added from the puzzle data? Potentially. What's attribute? Normalize attribute, text stroke, text anchor, text anchor. If what if I just do that? Oh. Oh no. Oh. Cage killer cage label. I'm wondering if I have an issue of style bleed, because I've had this issue in the past. Text anchor. Wait. I'm not seeing this here. What is going on here? Undefined, undefined. Text anchor start. Text anchor start. Because this is appropriate for the cage labels. And I'm guessing that's what it's... Yeah, these are all killer cage labels, right? Which need that style. And in fact, if I look at the screenshot, I imagine those are right. And I guess it's possible that they bleed over somehow. Let's try something. So currently I'm skipping this particular rule. And if I, instead of that, just go back to this for a sec. So this should break it, right? How does this not work when this did? Element has already been declared. What? 288. Huh? Yeah. How did I duplicate this line somehow? So now in the screenshot, I'm guessing this is broken again. Okay. But the question is, do I have any of the other styles bleed through as well? So let's say CSS text anchor. What other values are there? So let's use one that I definitely haven't used anywhere, right? And now let's say when so if out attribute is this, right? then now we'll say attribute in attribute equals that. And now let's see if revert layer is what we end up getting in our screenshot. We don't. We get middle. And attribute. What? Text anchor start. Wait. I do it this way, right? Before we start, afterwards, it's revert layer. Let's do it this way. Text anchors undefined, text anchors undefined. Why? Ah, okay, wait a second. If I do this. Undefined, undefined. Okay, so what if we're looking only for start? So if equals start, only then do we change the revert layer. We probably want to use that, treat that as a string. So we're programming, not just randomly typing things, hoping it'll work. Then it becomes revert layer. Okay. I don't know where my digits went. And now, if I create a... Interesting that that'll come through like that, huh? And now text anchor becomes middle. It's like it doesn't... I almost worry that the revert layer isn't accepted somehow. CSS text anchor. Is there some other value that we can use? Let's just change it to end. And if start works, end surely should work, right? And now, sorry if the text was small. If I now, okay, let's, here it's now changed to end. And now if we do the screenshot, the digits are on the left. And lo and behold, it is end now. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. So this, as far as I can tell, should only happen for killer cage text labels, right? Cage killer, cage killer, cage label, cage killer, cage label, cage killer. I'm thinking... Okay. I think I'm getting my head around it. Okay. So the problem is, because I'm not actually modifying this class, I'm just finding elements with this class, and I'm manually assigning those styles. Now the problem is the getComputedStyle has another selector which includes all text labels, and then just picks one of those to try to figure out the computed style for it. So I'm not actually getting the style that applies to a specific selector. I'm selecting something via a selector and then finding the style for that, and then I'm basically using that style for all things for that selector, which is inaccurate, right? Because multiple things that match the same selector, let's say all text elements, can all have different styles. That is actually a fundamental problem. And I'm trying to think, is there a universal way of getting around that? I mean, there's a complex way where you basically check all the elements of that selector and then combine those styles according. There's a few different ways of doing it, right? One is, instead of applying them as a style as a global style, you actually pull out the element styles themselves, right? Because these styles should exist on these elements, right? So if I look in here, I go to cell values. But they don't sit here. They don't get added to the attribute. They just get internally stored, but they don't show up when I copy these elements over. Okay, so either I add these styles into the style property here. So right now I'm just, what am I doing here? I am assigning these attributes to the element. So these attributes attributes to style, attribute.style equals this. What the heck? Attribute.style. So in attribute, normally, if attribute out, if attribute key is not equals to undefined, attribute key. Oh man, this is like, it's doing my head in, because attribute here is being changed. It's getting a style property added. Okay, so here we want to double check if attribute text anchor is not equal undefined, right? We want to output attribute, and just to check if we get a weird style property here. We don't, we get text anchor start. But shouldn't it have been converted to a text dash anchor from this part up here? Or does that happen here? If attribute.text anchor is not equal to undefined. If attribute.text anchor is not equal to undefined. If attribute, and what's the other one? Text anchor is not equal to undefined, or then output it, and let's do it here as well, and here. So style width. Here we go, the style property. So I have a bit of an issue here because this is evaluated lazily. So we want to try looking at the style property, because shouldn't the style property then get pushed? So if I do this, right, style 1, style 2, style 3. Style 3 doesn't happen. How does style 3 not happen? Oh, because it gets disappeared from there. So, has const has text anchor equals. I guess we'll do this. And then we could just do this. If has text anchor. We do that. And now it eventually becomes this. And then eventually all the way down there. Hey, come on. Can we just do that? Text anchor. Okay, so we do have a style property. So that's what I wanted to know. So this gets pushed into the style property. And now if I look at the SVG here, which I don't think I can look at the source directly. So if I do this, I should be able to see these style properties here. So it doesn't copy the style properties over. That is very strange. Because I was thinking, if I find the style properties here, then I don't have to worry about bringing the style sheets over. And it's actually a bit of a problem because no style sheet is actually going to ever replicate these correctly. So this is a fundamental flaw. I'm surprised these style properties aren't getting copied over. Let us, oh my gosh, there's, 1 second, there's so many things open here. Let me close some of these things, otherwise I can't get back to my tabs. If I, why am I so far back in here? There's so much other stuff open. Okay, no, why am I looking at production? No. Why am I looking at that? No. Not that. Not that. This we might need. Scripts. I closed puzzle tools. All right, we definitely need puzzle tools. So what I'm thinking is we want to first we want to find where we're cloning the elements over. So we're gonna need a second one of these, and currently get this. Where's this being used? Here, puzzle to SVG, right? So SVG element attributes to save res. What is res? Serializer to string SVG element. So what I want to look at is res. First of all, and I basically want to get a handle on how the SVG gets copied. Can I just look at the whole thing? So, because here the style elements are empty, which is not what they look like in the SVG element. So if I look at the SVG element here, yeah, I was hoping this would be an easy fix. Not so much. So if I look at this, I don't have these here. Really? So if I look at SVG renderer text, and I just grab them all, right? If I just do this, can I expand them? Ah, here we go. So we have these here, but not here. Oh, wait a second. I was looking at the wrong thing, right? So over here, these aren't supposed to have styles. Are these in the cage layer? Yes. So here we have the styles correctly. Okay. So our get element by blah, blah, blah falsely brings over those, the computed styles bring those styles over. Okay, so maybe I can avoid get computed style altogether. The question is, how do I compensate for the colors? So because this is something I had thought originally as well. So instead of just using get computed styles on everything, which now I'm realizing is really dumb, I can just specifically look for the modified colors, the customized colors, right? And the customized colors come from the variables, I believe. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. And if I look at, I think the pink is my custom color. So if I look at cell colors, and I look at this cell, it says cell color 3, and I look at computed styles, and we can just look at color. Cell color 3, and it's modified specifically here. So I think for now, we'll probably just want to pull in these specifically, because I think pen colors aren't modifiable. Okay, so now the question becomes, how do we, where and when and what do the colors get loaded in look like? All right. Okay. I can, let's just see what I've changed. If I can quickly hide some of the logging in here. What line is this? 490. So we're just gonna do this, this, and this, and this, right? And 5, 3, 8, and this. Boom. Okay, so now we're gonna go back in here. We're gonna take a little closer look at the styles, how they're getting generated. All right, so I was what was I doing? 395. I was outputting these here. Let's not do that. I was outputting this sort of thing here. So instead of doing this, we're gonna say you know what? I'm just gonna output these quickly. See what happens. Okay, so there's a place where this selector includes these colors, but it is not this place. So if we're doing the custom colors, are they on cell color or are they on these colors? Like if I look at these, if I look here, for example, right, we'll go boom, give me that element. Look at the cell colors, look at whatever, third cell. This one, right? And if we look at the styles, we have this cell color 3, which is a variable, and cell color 3. Basically, right now I am trying to figure out if these colors are manipulated programmatically or otherwise. Cell color 3. So we have a default value, but that's gotten changed. Now the thing is, unfortunately, they don't come up as at all as a selector here. But we kind of get this sort of thing. So we might have to just custom do something here. So if I look at this now, in the style sheet that I generate, which I believe is this, it somewhere has root, right? And then it'll somewhere have, can I just copy HTML? So if I do this and then wrap it, do we not have... Yeah, here we got the colors, right? And cell color 3 is the magenta. So this is just under root. So if we now manually do something like document.query selector all :root, does that give us just does that just give us everything, which we don't really care, we don't really want? It just gives us the does it really? Does it really? So computed style. So if I say .style here, we'll get something like this. Oh, but it's not like just everything. So if I turn this into an array, right, dot get property value dash cell dash color dash 3. Oops. So we could specifically do this just for the root element. So we could do if rule.selector text equals :root, then we do new, otherwise we do regular. And now if I do screenshot, it only changes the colors, which I think maybe is in the spirit, right? Like we have the optimization of removing everything with an empty selector. So that means we can, for now, get rid of all of this, right? We have wait. So we don't need this anymore. So this is really just that, right? And now we can actually put this in here. So we'll just say if rule.selector text equals that, we'll just do this. Right. Sorry. If it's unequal to root, we'll just return that. And we don't really care about anything blank or whatever at this stage. This should never happen. So now we can basically go back to this. Right. Let's see how close we are to what we had earlier. We cannot get rid of this now. Okay. We've made this change. This we don't need, because that's basically this one-liner. And we have an optimization I guess we can put this back in here just to make our diff a little bit simpler, even though I prefer the other cleaner method. But small diffs are easier to debug in the long run. 3, 4, something, something. So that's these diffs down here. Okay, so now the only change is the minor optimization of just skipping all empty elements. And I was gonna say it's actually more expensive because we're running query select on everything. In a way it is, because we're running query select on everything. We don't run it again on the empty ones, but we are running... Well, we're only running it again on root. Now that we're only looking for root, that kind of works. And now we can do something like pt computed selectors equals, and that's just going to be an array selectors, right? And it'll just contain this, and then we'll just say if this dot includes this, then we proceed, else we return. So if not, then we return, right? And I got that wrong. Computed selectors array, not that. Yeah. Okay, so screenshot, custom colors, center digits, and the diff now is only these 2 lines, 3 lines, because I made this a little bit better. Okay, we definitely don't want that change. And come on. And this, I think I think this was all debugging, but I'm just gonna manually remove it just to make sure I don't do anything really stupid here. Don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. And that should basically get us back. Yeah. So this is actually now a straight up point update fix to this. It does remove any other benefits we might have had from the computing style, but it also should remove any bugs related to that. And since we've checked that root only contains the colors, it should work for now, but it is not future-proof because I don't know if :root in the future might contain other things that shouldn't be brought into this. But for now, it'll fix it. So let us do a point update, if I remember how to do these. We'll do environment bump patch. Right, so that should get us a point update to this. All right. So what was it called? Screenshots respect custom colors. Okay. Fixed screenshot style computation. Right. And boom. So that's a separate commit, and we can tick it off, and we don't have to think about it. And that should just work. So, boom, done. You're welcome, Webby. Webby was reporting these. All right. This one has been a long-standing issue. I was thinking maybe I can quickly look at it if I recall where it is. So basically, there's a dialog that if you're running out of space, that pops up. And if you click it away, the timer doesn't unpause. And it happens to me every time. And it affects mostly people who have a lot of pauses like me, who every few weeks get that dialogue. Even in my case, every few days. So I believe it is related to this. Right. Blah, blah, blah. Close dialog, close dialog, close dialog. So I could make it a standard part of show and close. So I believe, I believe show dialog always pauses, but why doesn't close dialog always unpause? So show dialog, should we have a pause in here somewhere? Show dialog, dialog options. Pause. Let us have a quick look at the timer. Because I don't think it's actually called pause. It could be handle play pause. This dot handle play pause. Timer play pause. Handle play pause. Handle play pause. Play pause. So, do we have a play pause? No. Play pause. Play pause. Play pause. Stop. All right. Console.warn. Play pause. Just to find out where it gets triggered from. And now we're just gonna force this dialog. Ensure local storage quota. Quota available. So right now I'm guessing this will have quota available, right? So I'm not getting the dialog. So if I say equals false and I'll get the dialog, right? But I don't see a pause on the timer. Huh? It's starting the timer. It doesn't do that normally. If quota available. Huh? Am I going crazy? No, I haven't done anything to interfere with that. I see it playing here. I'm trying to think of an easy way of testing it on my live server. Why is it not pausing here? Huh. Also, why is it playing in the first place, right? Stop. And resume. And start. An open setting. Because it could be an event handler that does it internally, but it should have triggered at this point already. Resume, stop. Timer start resumes. Stop happens here. Stop, resume, start. Start, resume, start. Which executes a stop. Show pause dialog true. If first start, this first start equals false. This dot stop. So it's definitely meant to stop here. Because basically what happens is the dialogue is hijacking. Wait a second. Show pause dialogue. Because normally what happens is when you start a puzzle and you don't have the quota issue. So if I don't have this going on here. Let's just do this. Then it should pause on... Oh, it's not pausing on start because I have a different setting here. Okay. So if I say don't pause on start off, this causes the pause, and this hijacks the dialogue. Okay. Now, the pause on start dialogue, I'm guessing, specifically takes care of pausing? Oh no, it is a pause dialogue, so it knows what to do. Okay. So what I'm thinking of doing is, if we take the quota dialogue, Framework, quote, close dialogue, close. So we're close dialoguing all over the frickin' place. Here. So before we do close dialogue and show dialogue, we want to say console.log timer.running. So what we can do is we can just check if we're running or not, and then because that dialogue could come in either situation, paused or not, right? So timer.running is the wrong thing to look at. Really? Oh, wait, it's not timer. It is framework.app.timer.running. Right. Framework.app.timer.running. And now it tells us the timer is not running. Except we don't want to maintain the state of the timer. We always want to unpause it. So I'm guessing we kind of want to do the same thing that we do for the pause dialog, which is it is show dialog on console this.resume on button this.resume. So it just resumes when we're closing it. So here handle button handle download replace. So it isn't until we cancel or close. Okay, so we have an auto close. On close, is that a thing? I don't know. Trigger show dialog. Dialog options. What are the handlers? Close dialog on cancel. On cancel. Is it on cancel? If I do this, then do this, on cancel happens. We can just do resume. Isn't that kind of what this one was doing? On cancel, this resume, yeah. So it's not running. Did I not say this? Boom. Hey, it's running. Okay, so I think that'll do it. And it's probably all we need to do. And I think it's actually safe to do this as well. Surprisingly. Let's get rid of some of these messages. This one, this one, this one, this one. And we're missing all quota shenanigans. All right. And that's the only change. Okay. That's... I guess it's a minor. That's been a long pending irritation to me. All right. So... boom. Unpause after quote storage quota dialog. I think it makes sense to always unpause at that point, even though we don't know if we were paused or not. I think for now that makes sense. Okay, wow, we've done this one as well. Okay, I'll admit it, the screenshot thing took a lot longer than anticipated. But we can finally get to the main story, which is the ISS import. So, the ISS is the interactive, I want to say, interactive Sudoku solver, right? Which is a tool made by Sai that I'm not familiar with, that I've only just started looking at. He's got it on GitHub here. And it lets you create puzzles with a variety of quite a modern thing. I don't think it's as fully featured as Sudoku Maker, but it seems to do a lot of things, and you know, maybe people are using it. But it is available for self-hosting as a open source on GitHub, so that makes it quite interesting because it means I can just, you know, people can modify it, work on it, and all that. Sudoku Maker might as well, but this was very easy to just run, and it seems to be a simple thing. And it basically creates puzzles in this format. And this is a very simple string format that I thought, oh, that's exactly what my puzzle importer is meant to do. And the puzzle importer is a tool I haven't really officially released it because it doesn't have the quality of GUI that I would like to have for it. But the idea of it is that you have very simple text-based formats, and it will, for very specific subsets of formats, it knows how to turn those text strings into Sudoku pad puzzles, right? So the idea is, for example, you can put in 81 digits plus a solution. You have a few options you can toggle. It'll show you the JSON, and it'll generate a wrong one. Why does it switch to ISS automatically? Yeah. And it'll basically, so I can change this, refresh it. I can get rid of Windoku, refresh it, right? And it'll generate Sudoku pad data, right? So, for example, I can input a killer puzzle with a format that I haven't documented here yet, but it's quite simple. Basically, each letter just represents a different cage. So all the A's are part, you know, it has 81 letters here, and it has the solution digits. And it will figure out, this is like for a full killer. It's the simplest format I could imagine. You just have different symbols. Every symbol that's the same belongs to the same cage, upper, lowercase letter. It doesn't actually care what symbol it is. But it'll generate a really nice puzzle, and you can even check different colors. You can have no colors. You know, you can say, oh, use the 4-color theorem to... There was an excuse to implement the 4-color theorem. You know, you can tile any map with just 4 colors, or you can have a separate color for every kind of value, and it'll just randomly generate colors, but you can also just put them in here. Anyway, and you know, one-up puzzles, for example, right? You can just put in some numbers for the digits and some ones and zeros for the walls, and it just generates a one-up puzzle. And the idea is that even other sites can use this importer to basically stuff some data into the URL, and it'll just format that, convert it, and forward you to Sudoku pad, right? So I don't have to implement support on all these things directly in the Sudoku pad engine. It's in a way similar to what Mark TextFan's PenPa converter does, but just for a variety of other different formats, right? Anywho, so I started with the ISS encoding, and one of the things I was looking into is adding some basic formatting, markdown formatting. So that's what at the beginning of this session we removed. So let's see if we can put this back in here. And if I now refresh this and refresh it, no. Can I restart it? If I restart it and now refresh it, which will take a bit longer because I think it needs to rebuild the database cache. Yeah. No? What? Ah, here we go. We were looking at a stale cache. Yeah, so it implements some basic markdown inline formatting. I haven't thoroughly vetted the tool that I'm using, so I'm not sure if it's good enough for long-term use, but I'm okay with putting it into beta for testing. So I think that's actually what I'm gonna do first, because it's kind of independent of the other stuff, right? It's got it's minified 1K of code. And in the moment, I'm only looking at using the inline stuff, and I'm splitting the rules into lines first, so it doesn't get confused for certain things. It might break some things that people might have done not intending to use Markdown with. So I would like to do a survey of puzzles from the database and just say, okay, how many puzzles will actually have their rule text modified by this versus the standard formatting. But it'll be just on beta, and if it's a problem, I'll just disable it before it goes into production. But for now, I'm okay with just deploying it and letting people have a go at it. So we'll just do another minor version bump, and we'll just push that, so then we can look at the ISS data. Basic inline markdown support for rules text. All right, third minor version update today already. Okay, so that's done. I guess I can delete that file now. And now we can look at the ISS format, right? So the way the importer works, I tried to build it in a kind of modular fashion to make it relatively easy to add things in. So for example, for now, the main code that handles the formats doesn't really do much. In the moment to add a format, basically, I have my importer. All I really need to do is add one of these JS files, and then that JS file basically needs to define a type, and then I think somewhere down here, it just pushes it, basically registers itself, right? And it has a couple of properties that it needs, sort of an API that it needs to implement, right? I can delete all this. And it includes a demo puzzle. There is a theoretical future. I would like to have a list of demos that I can add, and maybe these demos can be managed separately elsewhere, right? But that's basically what it loads here as the default. And then I have a couple of like basic things, like the JSON view that are just shared. So for example, I have, you know, a title, author, rules text. I could think about automatically generating rules text from these rules, but that's a separate project, I think. And the moment it just takes the constraint string. So it basically says, okay, whatever you get by pressing this copy button up here, paste it in here, and then it'll generate Sudoku data, and then you can open it, and boom, it's a Sudoku puzzle. And here we are, right? And this is a puzzle I made. It's not very good, but I just messed around, right? So what I haven't done yet is I haven't looked at all the rules that are available in ISS. So I've just made this puzzle, which uses arrows, little killer, cages, that's 3, entropic lines, and whisper lines. So 5 different rules that I've basically implemented, right? And what happens is, here we are actually. Cage, arrow, entropic, whisper, and little killer. So this is how I've implemented them for now. Now, I had a quick... I poked him earlier today in Theory and Programming on the Discord. Let me see if I can find the message. He said, all classes are listed here. So if I go to this part of the GitHub repo. Okay. Has all the concerns. Shows how they're parsed. Yeah. So I don't want to necessarily implement all of the constraints today. But I'll probably want to see if I can cover some of the basic ones. Like, he has some ways of sort of custom defining constraints, I believe. So I'm not really going to look into those. Ooh, that's a lot. Ooh, that's many. So I have a clone of his thing in here. So let me see if I can. Can I add this over here? If I just do this, yes, I can. Sweet. So this is under constraint, Sudoku constraint. Right. So this file, if I collapse it, it looks like this. If I do this, I have a bunch of them here. Okay. So for example, or I think these are sort of ways of kind of building constraints. These are basically global constraints. Yeah, like Vindoku. So, you know, some of those I can support. Like these aren't flags inside SudokuPad. So for example, I have that, if you look at the classic Sudoku editor, I have a flag that says Vindoku and has diagonals. But what it does, it actually builds in a bunch of data to make that in the puzzle, right? It doesn't just set the flag. I think it does that as well, but it actually adds, you know, if I do this, it'll actually add, oops, if I refresh this, it will actually add, I don't think it adds extra regions, but it basically creates the colored underlays. And I'm surprised, I could actually add cages, killer cages, to make them work, like invisible killer cages. I haven't even done that here, but I could add that. And if I do the diagonals, does that, if I refresh that, it adds the line. Does it? It doesn't add, so I could add cages for the diagonals as well. That's something I haven't even done here. Some of these tools do certain things more than others, and some of them were built earlier than others. So for example, these are making sure they're unique cages, have the values set for the killer cages and all this stuff, but they also have all the coloring here as cosmetic values and things like that. For the ISS at the moment, I've just sort of implemented these kind of using basic styling that I've taken from other puzzles. Like, I don't want to, I'm not really standard, you know, defining standard styles. But, you know, green German whispers and all this stuff is already kind of there. So the hard thing would actually be to make a list of kind of what I want to include. For example, I'm tempted to skip things like lockout in between, but do things like palindrome, Sunline, I guess those are the blue one, crop keys. So what I probably need to do is either find more ISS test puzzles, and if you guys, any of you have ISS puzzles somewhere lying around, please send them to me. For example, here's one by Sam Kaplan. But that's just a killer. Ooh, and there was a paper by... Is that related to Sudoku? Not specifically. I'm basically just currently scrolling through the search result for ISS on the Discord to see if I can find a few puzzles. Okay, so here's, for example, here's one that does a thermal. So let us bring this over here. Let us switch to my local version. Like that. Boom. Wait, no. What? No, that's... Wait. Ah, here we go. What just happened? I am confused. Okay, here we go. So, what I'm basically gonna do is I'm gonna copy this, go to my sample puzzles here, comment out the one I already have, right after I copy it. Do this. Put that in here. Solve it. Copy the solution. Put that in here. Boom, right? And then basically look at it by refreshing this. And it'll be broken, I imagine. Puzzle type ISS. Unknown constraint thermal. Okay, so now we get unknown constraint thermal, and we'll basically just add it to the list. That's kind of my approach. So if I say constraint thermo, boom, I don't know what I'm supposed to return here. But if I just do this, what does that look like? Thermal. Okay. So thermal gets us a set of points. And I need to... I think the thermals are not too dissimilar from the arrows. So I can kind of use this. In fact, they're very similar to the arrows. Right. I think the waypoints are the same way. So if I do this... Right. And then I do this. In fact, we can... structurally, they're identical, right? If I do this, I can just convert every thermal into an arrow. Correct. And now I just need to change the styling. And to do that, I'm just gonna see if I can find a thermo from James's Artisanal Sudoku and steal how he did the styling in this. So if I go in here and look at the source puzzle data, we should basically get a bunch of lines and overlays, right? So here, this stuff goes into arrows. This should go into lines now. The color should be CCCCF. At least that is what James uses. Thickness is now 19.2 instead of 3.2. And we don't have a head length. Right. And waypoints. So if I do this, refresh that, haha. And for the arrowheads, they go into the overlays, just like for the, the thermal, it's just like for the arrows. But now the background color is black. The color itself is white. Interesting color. It doesn't use border color. Right. Width and height. Height is 0.33. Thickness doesn't apply. Angle doesn't apply. Rounded is true. Color is that. Border color shouldn't apply. And the center should be just the point on the line. Yeah, I thought that was a bit weird. Height. Is it because I have width here? Ah, no, he has width and height there as well. Oh, wait. This is not... I think that's a Kropke dot. Yeah, they're going the underlays. Here we go. So, underlays. Yeah, I thought the colors were weird. There we go. Background color. Yeah, Kropke is definitely something we need to add. So we don't have that. Rounded, true. Width, height. That's it. And bada bing, bada boom. We have thermos, right? These look like thermos. Okay. Let us look at a sort of good description of a thermal rule. So what I do is I just copy this, and then I kind of clone just that for now. I think James has refined the art of writing this well. But in the future, I think I might talk to Full Deck and Missing a Few Cards, because I think they're working on sort of a standard way of expressing rules, right? Now, I'm not generating the rules text here. I'm just making that part of the text for this. I think the rules sort of generator is out of scope at the moment, but in the future that might be something I add as well. So I think we can just do that, right? Normal subject rules apply. All to the standard. Okay, he adds that. I don't think that's necessary. So if I do this and then say open in Sudoku pad, see if we have any errors. Where is my... Oh, yes, here we go. So now, normal reverse thermometers with our nice blah 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 holding. Digital thermometers increase from the bottom. And then I could emphasize where I reuse the word in the text. So if I say single asterisk here and here, digits on thermometers increase from the bulb. Let's see what that would look like. Right. Excuse me. I just want that for the console. Now I don't know what the context is. Like if this is solvable, and obviously I wouldn't put this as a sample because it's not mine. But I'm guessing it's one of those puzzles where you have to say, okay, none of the like the 9s need to be here. You know, where the 1s and the 9s can be, right? So we know there's 9s over here, and then there's 9s over here, and it's like almost a whatever, right? Here, the 9 is over here, so the 9 can't be here and can't be here. Right? No, I'm wrong. 1s have to be here or here. So... right? Along this line. Okay, let me turn this into a coloring thing. We're gonna make all the ones... like, these can't be 1s. So we're gonna make these green. Like, none of these can be 1s. And none of these can't be 9s. Right. So we've got a 1 here or here. So these are where the 1s can be. Let's make those blue. So that's, we have an X-wing on 1s. And we have a triple yada yada on the 9s. Which is here. And we have 3. Does that work out? No, because we have a 4th here. So this almost gets us a Y-wing, but not quite. Because we don't have the middle line resolved, right? We know these can't be 1s. Sorry, these can't be... we know the 1 is here, so these can't be 1s. So purple... these can't be 1s either now. Isn't that what I said purple was for? So green can be 9s, but can't be 1s. So because we have a Y-wing here, all of these become green now. Right? So none of these can be 1s anymore. This can't be a 1. This can't be a 1 anymore. Now we know there's a 1 here. Okay. Which means this can't be a 1 anymore. And in fact, these can't be 1s anymore. This obviously can't be 1s. Ah, wait, no, these can be 1s because we don't know if it's here or here or here. Okay. Does that take us further? I don't think so. So for 9s, we said 9s can't be here. So the 9 can be either in the middle or with one of these. Okay, so let's make these yellow, red. So 9s can be here. But 9s can be all the way across here. But here, 4 places, which is a lot. So this is the only other line where 9s are somewhat limited. Yeah, I don't. The problem is I don't actually know what the discussion is, where this came up, if this puzzle is solvable. It's called pretty hard. Let's see if this puzzle... Well, anyway, we have thermos implemented. As much as I would like to just play these, but because I don't know if these puzzles were meant to be played or if they are... if they're just experiments and they might not actually be solvable in a good way. Hey, GDC! an IS feature. No, the Markdown rendering would now be, once I deploy, it'll be on beta. But for now, it'll be for any format because it happens at the last stage, right? It just scans the text for it. But it'll only do per line, inline styling. So that's emphasis, underline, strike through. Like some of them I probably don't like. Strike through might actually be useful, but I'll probably have to go in later when people start using it and kind of make sure it's being used in the way I want. Like I probably don't want to just support full-on Markdown. And of course, it doesn't support block styles like lists and stuff. So which is something I do want to support. But at the moment, this was a very quick hack in there. X and V's, I guess I could make my own version of that. But let's see if I can find one. Interactive Sudoku solver. I don't know if... Does the Git repo contain samples? Data... Oh, wait, can I just go here and say... Load an example. Ah! Why didn't I look here first? XV crop key. Can I... Load? XV crop key? Ah, here we go. So, if I copy this... Do I want to keep these? Kind of do. For now. All right. Put that in here. Solve it. Copy that. Put that in here. Interactive Sudoku solver. Sample XV dash crop key sample. And I don't think it does any automatic rule. Like it does, in fact, I don't think it supports rule text actually. So if I do this, okay, now we get a bunch of unknown constraint. So let's do X as a constraint, I suppose. Ah, yes. I think I have that there because I'm not dealing with givens yet. So I'll probably want to do a classic one as well. Well, I wouldn't implement it myself for sure. I found like a tiny markdown parser, and probably I'll just limit myself to whatever it can do. But it is tricky because it actually already broke on certain puzzles, right? All right, so let us see. We have an unknown X and V constraint. So let's just do this. Constraint X. X. Return. Boop. X. Let's do X first because I have a feeling that V is basically the same as X in terms of implementation, right? Solution 327. Wait a second. What? Wait, what? Oh, I'm downloading it. Yeah. I copied probably the constraints into the solution because I downloaded instead of pasting it. All right. Okay, so X constraints. Let's look at artisanal again. Artisanal. How would I find an XV puzzle? Can I just search XV? XV. Google is not very good at that. I don't know if XV is something that James uses often. Hey, okay, good enough. Have to be also a bit careful because some of them might be old and he might have changed how he does certain things these days. So I think for the XV, we gotta have overlays, I believe. And I think we have two over... Yeah, here we go. So we have something like this. Okay. Don't need this anymore. overlay. So that means overlays. I should really return arrays from here, shouldn't I? Because that just returns one for each. Yeah, I probably need to change this because right now it can only return one element, but in certain constraints we probably need to return more than one. We'll deal with that when we get to it. So, for the overlay constraint, we need to look at what we got. So we have 2 cells. So I believe I don't know what its feature set is, but I think when I did a conversion from I don't know which format, it allowed multiple cells to be added, and it would just average the position between them. So you could add 4 cells and have an X in the center of 4 cells. In the moment, I'm just going to presume there's only 2. So there is a piece of algorithm, though, that does that. And it is in the fpuzzle. I guess that's something from fpuzzles. So if I look at the fpuzzles decoder, and I look at get part center, I believe it's this thing. Yeah. I don't want to do that. So we're just going to do this. Right? So that should get us just... Nope. That should just get us these 2 points. And I guess we can just add them together to get our center. So let center equals waypoint 0 plus waypoints 1 divided by 2. Boom. 0, 0, and 1, 1. Right? So that should get us a center, and we should be able to take that center and make one of these overlays for it, right? So if I take this, I copy the object, right? We'll do this. I'm going to turn this into some sensible JavaScript like that. Right. Then we'll have our center that we already calculated and hope that'll be okay. Rounded will be true. Width, height, I guess. Don't know how relevant or important that is. Text shouldn't be empty. Hey, babe. Does that mean I should start winding down, or? Oh yeah, you gotta work, Toby, still. Okay. No, sorry. I've been here. Been here this whole time. Yeah, this is actually different. I think I support these. We have the center. We want the font size, I guess. Height and width is 0.25. Rounded is false. Not sure how relevant that is. So if I do this, does that bring us up to scratch? I believe it does for the X's. It doesn't do for the V's and doesn't do for the crop keys. I don't think I have any particular validation for these either. So that's just fine. Right. Yeah, that's fine. Does the constraint say if it's an X or a V? It kind of does. So we can actually do this. So if I do this, right, it'll handle X's and V's, but we can literally just put that in there. Pretty sure there's supposed to be a V there. Unknown constraint V. Oh, XV. Well, that's the mistake. Cool. So that's X and V sorted. And there's another V over there, which is here. Okay. And I think mine are a little bit bigger, but that's fine. And we're also going to look at black dot and white dot. Constraint crop key dot. Right? And then we'll call these black dot constraint crop key dot. And we'll do the same thing for white dot. And we'll do the same thing. Two for one. I forgot that there. Do this so it doesn't crash out. And we can probably do away with that. And we basically have the same thing. So we'll just do parse RC function get point center points. And I can, if this is a valuable algorithm in the future, I can extend it for more than 2 points if that's necessary. Boom. We'll just do that. So then we can just say center waypoints. Then we don't need that. Boom. Actually, we can just say that over here. And then we just center. And then I can just move that over here and be done with it. Boom. Dunzo. So we're going to do the same thing for the X and V's, for the dots. But we're going to look at this here. And I believe some of these may or may not be crop keys. Probably not the ones that say X and V. So if I say copy object, and I... Still in overlays, right? I'll do this. And that. And that. And that. And we can do the colors in one line here. Right. Then we have our center, which we take from this. Like that. Round it, in this case, becomes true. We're actually creating round dots, after all. We can just do this here. Have a good walk, guys. So that's 0.3 now. So that's the one I did before. Okay. Text will be blank. I don't know if putting text blank in there is actually necessary. What else he's got? Height, rounded, text, colors. That's it. Bada bing, bada boom. No font size. And that looks like these. Okay. Now we have two color types, black and white. And I don't know if they're both here. Yes. Okay. So the only difference is the background color. Okay. So I guess it makes sense if I'll just say 0 equals white dot and this else hashtag 000. Boom. Right? And that should oh, wrong puzzle. It should handle both types. So this is just me, or does this look a bit weird? Because they're a little alpha. Do you have to do this to avoid some sort of auto alpha thing? It looks like it. Alright, let's pull this one out and look at it side by side with the artisanal puzzle. Which is probably, you know, just a tad more professional. Professional. I mean, it's obviously not the same puzzle. So we do have the automatic under thing. Okay, our whites aren't right, though. Our white dots aren't working as they should. Is it because I lowercase the f's? Really? Maybe that's something I did where I said, okay, if it's uppercase, don't mess with the transparency. The funny thing is here, the transparency... Huh. Is that really what I did? And it sounds like me, and it's also horrible. Yep. That looks like it. Okay. Sweet. I'm actually going to try to play this one, because maybe... Because it's a sample, maybe this is not so hard. So if I do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, right, then these are all upper, higher things, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this has got to be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, because 1, 2, 3, 4 is already taken. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This needs to be one of the edges. Can't be any of the middle ones. No, it could be a 7, 5, 6, 8, 9, right? But like it couldn't be a 6. Like we can't have it can't be a 6 or an 8. So this is 5, 7, 9. This is 1, 2, 4, 8 or a 6. Can be a 1. 1, 2, 3, yes. If this is a 4, if this is a 2, 1, 4. If it's a 2, 4, 1, yeah. 6, 3, 2. Okay. Alright. And this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. 2, 3, or 1, 4. 2, 3, 1, 4. 2, 3, 4. So this one is either that one or that one. That's 1, 2, 4, 8. With 2, 4 here, which means these are 1, 3, 7, 9. Which means 1 doesn't need to be in here. Okay. 2, 4 isn't on this thing. Can that be... Yeah, because this could be 1, 2, 4, and this could be 8, 4, like that. Okay. 5, 7, 9 is here. 5, 7, 9 is... Ah, no, it's not. What am I saying? It is not at all. It is not at all. 5 is here. Here. Here, and here. Which means if this is 5, then the 5... no, it doesn't work like that on these. Okay. Okay. If this is an 8, then the 9 would be stranded if it's a 6. So it just can't be 6 and 8. Okay. Alright. I feel like this is a coloring puzzle. Let's fill this one in, though. So this cannot be 2 or 4, which means this can't be an 8 or a 1. But we can still have 3, 6 here. Can these be the same? Sorry, the same color. Yes. This one sits here. This one sits here. That doesn't mean much either. Well, that's annoying. Are these supposed to be that hard? Sigh. Did you make these samples hard? I shouldn't be doing this right now, but I do want to. Alright, so this is 2, 3, 7, 8. Is this relationship problem? Like, if this is an 8, this is an 8, that's a 2, that's a 3, that's a 7. So we cannot have 8, 7 here. And I guess not the other way around either. So this can't be 8, 7, but one of these could be 9, and the other one could be 8, and this could be 7. If this is 5, 6, 4, 1, 9, not a problem. Huh. These are just a couple of consecutives here, having fun. Hmm. 2, 4 can't be here, and it can't be here. So 2 and 4s are here. I mean, that doesn't seem particularly useful. These two are either here or here and here. If they're here, they're not here. Woohoo! Okay, let's do some coloring, I guess. Let's make the low ones blue and the high ones red for now. Now this is either that or 5, which I'm gonna make gray. This one is blue. This one could be blue or red. These are all gray or red. We have another blue here, and we have one blue here. So 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 8, 1 or 3. So we have 3 blues taken care of only. So we're missing one more blue. Is one of these blue? 8, 4, 6, 3. Yes. So one of these is blue. Could they both be blue? Yes. So at least one of them is blue. But they could also be both blue. If they're both blue, then the rest here would be red and gray. Gray or red? Like these two is either these two or here. We can't have a 9 on these. Because there's a 9 on this. There's also an 8. And then... Okay, so this can't be a 9. Is that very useful? Do we have other situations like that? We have 3 reds in a row, yeah. But we don't have any other white dots. Let me just double check that I have the dot colors right. This is supposed to be this puzzle, right? Let me make sure I've translated them correctly. Can I unsolve it? Yeah, I'm trying not to cheat, so I'm trying to not look at the actual solutions. Sorry, my screen is super messy. I hope this would be a super quick puzzle. It wouldn't take that long to solve. Whoops. Well, I think we can get rid of that. Let's see if I can make a borderline acceptable layout for my stream here. I mean, I don't actually have a proper puzzle setup. But, you know, it's not too bad, right? Not too bad. It's okay. I don't even know how to approach this. I'm kind of at a loss. 1, 9 means this would be 2, 4, 8. And 3, 7 doesn't say anything about these. So these are all similar. This is the one that's a bit different. It has that white dot here. By the way, if I look a bit beaten up, it's because I've been... Here, I got myself stabbed by a cactus while I was walking by in the dark. And here... Where is it? Here, I was chasing a ball, one of Toby's balls, under a piano, and I was kind of looking at the ground, and I just ran straight into the sharp corner. So that was a bit of a mess. All right. If this is a 1, 2, this would be a 3, 4, and this would be a 6, 7. If this is a 3, 6, do we have a problem? Neither of these can be 3s. And then these can't be 6, 7. So these would be 8, 9, and these would be 1, 2. And these would be 3, 4. It's still possible. Ooh, wait, this... no. I was gonna say this can't be a 1. No, it can, because there's not a white dot. Uh-huh. 1, 4, 8. 2, 2, 3, 6. All right, then 5s cannot be on axis. So there's a 5 here, 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 here. And 5s can't be on the red crop dot either. So we have 5s here. They could be on these guys though, right? Like if this is a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fits. Can this be 7, 8? No. Oh, I thought it just could be 8 and 9, but it can't be 7, 8 either. It can't be. So these are actually, this one has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Interesting-ish. Unfortunately, it could be low, and then we don't know where the fourth red in this row is. All right, was there another 3 reds? Yeah, but no dots or anything. Okay, that's vaguely interesting. Because somewhere we need 2 high ones, right? Like if this is 9, 8, this is 6, 7, this is 5, 6, 7. Doesn't mean much, really. This one. Okay, the only interesting thing is if this is not an 8, it has to be here. So if it's a 1, 2... no, or a 6. If it's a 1, 2, or 4, it needs to... No, wait, why can't it be here? I'm an idiot. I don't know why my brain just said, like, okay, it can't be here, so it's gotta be here. That's silly. That is completely silly. These two... This one is the third red. Well, no. Can it be the third red? I don't know why. This is an overlap between these 3 reds and these maybe 2 reds. I don't know if that's relevant at all. 1 or 8. If this is a 1 or an 8, like if this is a 4, this becomes a 1 or 8. This becomes a 1, 2, 4, 8 quadruple. Is that a problem? Not at all. Not even a little bit, right? Not as far as I could tell, anyways. This one has to include a low digit, I believe. 8, 4, 6, 3. Yeah, it always is gonna, but it could still have 2 lows as well, unfortunately, because we only have 2 blues here. We have 4 blues overlapping here, though. I mean, we have gray and red here. Then we know 2 and 4 is here. But 1 and 3 can still be here. Do we have any limits because of these? Like 4, 6. Unless this is 4, 5, 6. Like 5, 6. But then this just doesn't have to be 4, 6, right? The relationship between these two via this is always either 6, 9 or 7, 8. 6, 9 or 7, 8. 6, 9 or 7, 8. This is 5, 6. Then this is 7, 8. And this is going to be a 9. But this can be just out of the way on the lowers or lower digits. And then it doesn't matter. 6, 9 or 7, 8. These are either here or here. Yes, because they're the same relationship. So they're either these, which means 8 or 6 needs to be here, or these. Is there a reason why this cannot be a 6 or an 8? 6 or 8. Because this can be 1, 2 still, right? That's mildly interesting, because these two are in the same relationship as these two. So let's change these from blue to green and these from red to purple. Oh, they are different. Of course they're different because these are different. I'm an idiot. Like this is either 2, 3 or 1, 4 and then this is the other one, which means these two have to be purple, which means this cannot be a 5, which means it cannot be a gray, which means also it's not red. So this is 7, 9, which means this is always 9 and 6 or 7, 8. So this is 8 or 6. And then the 5... Well, it's any of these, right. Now this can't be purple, but it can be red. These can't be red, but they can be purple. Green, so these are this and green. Gray or green. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Problem is, if this is gray, then it says nothing about these guys. Okay, that's progress, right? These now can't be purple, so they're red. And that means blue has to be here. And then these are specifically red or gray, which is something. Right, and that means blue is here. Like that. This can't be red. So this must be gray. So that's our 5. Okay. That means red is also here. And blue... Blue needs to be spread across these two. It can't be both in the same column. Okay, red is over here. We need purple and green over here. Okay, that now these can't be red, right? So these got to be purple. That means these can't be blue. They got to be green. So now this can't be green. So that's the 5, and this can't be the 5. Yes, all right. Okay. Now this... Oh yeah, it can be red. It can be this one. Alright, hey. I don't know... I think by the realization that these see each other, that kind of unlocked something in my brain. Like, this can still be red, because it only sees one of the reds. Purple... Wait, oh. Wrong purple. Oops. Yeah, that... What? I must have pressed them by my fingers. Alright, purple go here. Red and what? Red and blue. So that's red and blue. I don't actually know if this is blue. I just said that's just a lower one, a lowercase color. Now this can't be 1, 2 because 1, 2 would bridge. Ah, no, because this could be 3, 4, and 1, 2 here. So 1, 2 would be one of each, blue and green. But this is always gotta be because no, if it's 2, 3. It can't be 2, 3 anymore. It can't be 2, 3. It could be 1, 2 if this is 3, 4 here and 1, 2 here. It could be 3, 4 if this is 1, 2, and 3, 4 here. It could be 4, 5 and 5, 6. Okay. Okay. Huh. Now that means these can't be... I was gonna say it can't be 1, 2. It could be 1, 2. It's never gonna be 2, 3. Could it not be 2, 4? Because 2, 4... No, 2, 4 is also 2 different colors. It would be green, blue. Okay. Let's remove the colors on these for a sec. Alright. Are we making progress? We're making progress. We know there's a 5 here, which means this can't be a 6. Because the 5 goes with a 6, so the 6 can't go with a 7. So either this is 5, 6, or it's 5 and 6. Right. 5 and 6. So one of these is 6, which means red is 6, 9. Wait. One of these has to be purple. Because we only have one purple here. Shoot. One of these has to be purple. So we have one gray red and then one red purple. And wait. So the gray red. No, it could be gray purple as well. So this is 5, 6 and 8, 9. Okay, so the 6 goes with the 5. Can the 7 go with the 8? No, because the 6 that goes with a 5. If this is a 6, this would be a 9. Ah, no, it could be 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the 9 could be here and here. No, sorry, the 9 could be one of these. Yeah. I have a feeling that I'm getting this wrong, though. 5, 6. We don't know if the purple is with the red or with the... Sorry, we don't know if the gray is with the purple or with the red. So we have 6 for sure. And then we'll have... So we have a gray. We have a 6. And then we have... The one... We have either have a 9 here... Or we have a 7 here and a 9, 8. So if this is a 9, then it's 7, 8. So we have an 8 for sure in here. Okay, we have a 5 there. We have an 8 there. If this is the 8, 5, 6, 8, 9, 7, 8. Yeah. So we know we have an 8 here. And we have a 6 here. And then we have a 7 or 9. Yeah, the 8 goes with the 7 or the 9, which is the opposite of this one, which means the 8 goes with the red, right? Because these are, yeah, there's two neighbors to 8. One is red and one is purple. The purple one is here, the red one will be with the 8. And then the other red will be with a 5, which means red is 6, 8. So this needs to be an 8. Yes. All right. Okay, so we now know that red is 6, 8 and purple is... Sorry, 6, 9 and purple is 7, 8. And then blue would be 1, 4. Green would be 1, 2, 3. So 1, 4, 6, 9, 7, 8, 1, 4... Right, this can't be a 7. So now we have 8, 9, 5, 6. This can't be 7, 8. So 6, 5 or 9, 8. This can't be a 9. All right. This can no longer be 7, 8. It cannot be a 5. Which means it can no longer be gray. Which means that's red. So all the reds are sorted. This cannot be a 2. So it's a 1, 4, or 6. 7, 8. So the reds are all taken in this row. So there's no red here. So the red is up here. One of these is a red. And it's obviously not this one. It's this one. Okay. And we have gray. So this is purple and blue. No, and green. We have blue already. And green is 2, 3. So this is not 4. 4 is over here. And that's not 2. Okay, and the other color here is red. So we have 2 blues and a red, which means blue is 1s. We have the 1 here. So 1, 4, 6, 9. And the other green is 3. We have a 3 over here. 1, 4, 6. 6 is red. 1, 4 is blue. So these are 1, 4, 6, 9. Purple is 7 and 8, which means they're both here. So if the 8 is here, wait a second. If this is, yeah, this can't be 6, so this has to be 7, 8. Because otherwise it would have to pair with a 6 or 9, which aren't available. So these are our purples here. So purples are also sorted in this box. Here they're all stripy, so it's not as easy to sort them out. There's a green over here, but not both. So there's a green and a purple here. Basically, these two have to be here, which means our 5 is here. Okay. Our 5 is up here. It's over here. We don't know yet in this column where the 5 is. Okay. So can this be a 1, 2? That would make that a 3 and that a 4. That's fine. Can't be a 2-3. Could it be a 3-4? That's 2-1, yes. Can be a 4-5, I suppose. Could be a 5-6. I believe so. That would make that a 6, and that a 9, that a 6, and that a 9. Right. 4, 6, 8, 4, 3, 6. Is that a problem? 8, 4, 1, 9, 7, 3. So if this is an 8, that'll be a 4, 7, 3, and that'll be a 3 here. If this is a 6, so if there's a 6 or an 8 in here, the 3 and 4s are always taken. Is that useful? 1, 2, 3, if it's small, we don't know. We don't know yet. 2 and 4 is green and blue, and then 8 and 1 is... So... 8 is purple. 1, 3 is blue, green, purple, red. Okay, that doesn't tell us too much. 4, 6, 9. Okay. We still need a second blue, second green, and all that stuff over here. The only thing we know for sure is there's no reds here. There could be a red up here. This red is one of these. 2, 1, or 4. So this is either blue or red with a 6, and that's a 3. Okay. Which V's can be the same? I think I've done that already, right? I think that's a reference to what I've actually already done. Sorry, I'm not diligently looking at the chat. I need to figure out a way. Maybe I'll put it on this screen and put it under my main screen. Because now my main screen is a bit higher. Maybe I can fit it in there. My desk is a bit too small. It is too small. So this can't be 5. Can't be... Okay, so it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It can't be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that's green or blue. Down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a small number. And then this is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, but it cannot be 2, 3. So that's blue or gray. It can't be green. Ah, so this can't be blue. So it's gotta be green. So that's 2, 3. That's 1 blue, and then that's 1 blue and 1 red, and or gray. So it's blue, red, or gray, like that. So that's a 2, 3. That's basically this one. The other 2, 3 is here somewhere, but it can't. It could be 1, 2, or 3, 4, but it could also be here. Okay. Anything else I can do? 1. This is a 2. That's a 1. I can't tell yet if there's what the crosstalk is between these. Ah, this is not purple. This is pure red now. So this is 2, 3, 7, 8. So these two are 5, and the purple and green, but I don't know which one. These two are here. Where can I put 5s? So in this column, it's limited to this. 5, 6 here, or 5, 6 here. 8, 9, or 8, 9. If this is an 8, makes this a 1, 2, 4, but that's not very meaningful. 1, 4, 6, 9. 1, 4, 6, 9. This can't be a 4. 4, 6, 9. And this is 2, 3, 7. That can't be a 2. 3, 7. Yeah, that's not super useful. Both of the reds are here, because we have them here and here. Doesn't mean anything, because we already know where they're here. 2, 3. There's this thing. This is either 7, 3, and then purple, green, or 1, 9, which makes it red, blue. And we still don't know which. And the same with the 2 and the 4 here. That's either red or blue. And then the 8 would be 842, which have purple and green here. Is that a problem? If this is 842, because that's a purple-green combo, would make this a 5. 842. 5, 6. 3. 1, 2, 4 on the other hand is blue, green, blue. Blue, green, blue. Is that a problem? 1, 2, 4 makes this 3, 7. 8, 7. Alright. 9 is here or here. We still don't know for sure, right? Because we don't know what this is. Okay, I think it's this white dot here. And I'm wondering if there's some sort of... Like, it could be... If it's one, it could be 1, 2, right? That'd be one of blue and green. And then this can't be blue. Okay, so if this is 1, 2... Then we need the second from 3, 4. No, because this could be 5, 6, and 9. Alright, maybe it's this one? 6, 3. 3, 6. That would be 9. 3, 7. 6, 6, 6. No. Doesn't do anything. 1, 2, 1. 8, 4, 3, 6. Is 3, 6 a problem? 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6. Alright, let's start shading some more things, because this one can't be up here and can't be there. Now, that means that one is always... I can't use this one. Nope. I lost my ladder shade. But that one is always here, which means that one is actually here. Which doesn't really help much. Huh. These two are these two, which means these two are here with a 5. Doesn't really mean much. This one is one of these two. It's not here, which means these two includes these two. Ah, wait a second. These two need to be these two then. So if these two are these two, then these two are these two. And these two... Wait, these two are over here. Ah, then this has to be the 5. No. Wait, what? These two are here, which means these two need to be here. Now, these two aren't these two, but these two. So these two are these two, which are these two. Ah. So they're not gray. So the gray ones are these. And the not gray ones. So what if I made these gray, then these are gray, and then these are gray, which means the grays are here, and the regular greens are here, which means this one can't be green. So that's got to be the 5. Right. Okay, progress. Slow but steady progress. So that means we have a 5 here, finally. And this red needs to go with the blue. And 2 reds and a blue. Right. 2 reds and a blue, so that's 1, 4, 6, 9. 2 reds and a blue, which means 1 more blue over here. So we have a gray, we have a blue, and we have a green and or pink. Okay. Can I convert from these to these somehow? I don't think so. 8. So the 8's here. 7's here. This one is that one, which means it's over here. Can we determine if it's on the dot? If it's the 6 on the dot. So this could never be a 6. This could only be a 9. So if these are 9s, it'll be here. And if it's a 6, it can be there. All right. I'm realizing I'm just playing the game now, which is fun, and I need to do that more often. But let's see if we can do a few more constraints before I give in to my tired brain. So we've done crop keys, we've done these. Yeah, let's go down the list of the samples. Let us look at classic for givens. So let's copy that for a check. So what does something with just basic? Nah, I'm always overwriting the wrong one. So I do this, that, and then classic Sudoku sample, and we'll solve it, and we'll copy the solution, and we put it in there. And this won't work because it's the givens, I believe, are not shown as a constraint. So this is our list of constraints. The log constraints 0 constraint. So this is, so the empty constraint is our givens. So if I say givens, make an empty constraint, copy that, givens, and that might actually break down a little bit. At least, oh. No, can I not control and shift at the same time? If I do this now, excuse me, givens, constraint, supported constraint, and verb constraint, push part if, constraint givens is an empty array. Wait, what? Oh. If constraint dot length equals 1 and... Does that make sense? I believe so. Right? Okay, now we have givens. And I'm guessing we can once again just look at... Oh, but he doesn't use givens. But we can use at the output of the classic sample, right? So if I do this, and just grab that one, and move it over here, and then look at our source puzzle data, and then we'll see that this is just under cells. So... So this won't work in the same way. So what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna pass in the puzzle as well. Because here we're hoping we're outputting stuff. So what we probably want to do is we want to pass in the puzzle and have this as a separate function, right? So we want to have something like function apply, apply to puzzle parts, right? And then it'll basically do this. Right? We'll do something like that. Or blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Right? Why is the color all wonky? So we'll do something like this. So instead of doing that over here, right, we'll just say convert constraint, puzzle. And we'll test it on one of the other samples first. Right? Like that. And if we look at convert Kropke dot puzzle, we'll just do this for a sec here. If I now do this, convert Kropke dot, and now if I do apply to puzzle instead of the return, puzzle, boom, and we'll just do this, and that should get us that. So we're just adding this at the end of each function. Now each function will then handle its own constraints. Boom, 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 boom. So we're going to change these all from using return values to doing this. And then that means each constraint now has full access to the whole puzzle and can do its own thing. Which should make it easy enough. Just do that here. Like that. And like that. And oops. Don't know what happened here. Like this, I believe. Did I screw it up here as well? No, I don't think so. Can do this. And let's change the sample to maybe this one. If I do this, is it gonna break? Nope, looks fine. Okay, so that works. Ready to pee, but I'm trying to get this finished. So now we don't do this at all. We'll do this. Right. And now we can go back to the new sample, which is the first one here, which is just a classic with the givens. Right? And now it says convert constraints givens. And we know that givens, we need to go through things and stuff. So, one sec. Oh. Wait, where are the givens? No, there are no givens here. Wait, I thought... Uh-oh. What? It's broken? No! Convert. Classic Sudoku. Why is it broken? Even the Windoku stuff. Wait a second. Why is this broken? I didn't change this. I did not change this. Don't you be broken. Do I need to press refresh? Puzzle regions cells. Because it's... Something's wrong with that. Okay, well, anywho. That gets us our test puzzle. I need to look into that some other time. So. Cells, and it's just value. That's all we really needed. All right, back to here. So, console log puzzle. So now we should get this, cells, and then we'll go through each of these. Okay, so our RC parser isn't gonna work with that, is it? RC, parse RC, and then we can optionally say underscore followed by \d plus for now. But in theory, that could be letters as well, I suppose. If I just try it, oops. If I just try it and I say, if I just say 1, none. Oh, it just doesn't support letters. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. If I run the parse RC algorithm, so if I just gonna do this, so right now, if I refresh this, the constraint will have the blank initial thing in there. Right? Just the one. And if I do this, what does that look like? Okay. I think it still works for the other ones as well. I don't know, actually. If it's optional, I feel like I need to test it. Instead of this, if I do this one, because we've changed the parser now. What do these waypoints outputs look like? So, for example, the arrow. If I output the waypoints here, are they larger arrays? No, they're arrays of 2. Okay, so that should work. It looks like it's working. So, back to this. Where did I put that? Here. And now we get these, and I should be able to find them. So if I say const givens equals that, and then for const rc val equals givens, that should give us rc val off givens. right. And then we'll just say puzzle dot values are C. And the music stopped. Why? I always set it to loop infinitely, and then it just sort of doesn't. Yeah, I just saw it refresh, and it disabled my looping. All right. Properties of undefined. Puzzle dot values. Puzzle cells. All right. And then we'll just say puzzle dot cells dot value equals val. So if I do this, do we have a bada bada boom match to so it's 53642. Classic Sudoku, load from text. Classic Sudoku. 5342. Like, it seems to be in the same places. 79, but one higher. Yes, because I'm incrementing the... I'm incrementing... Sorry, decrementing, but I should only be doing it for the first two. I smaller... 0, 1. Smaller than 2, we do this. And we'll change this to RCV. 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 Boom. Nope. Boom. Nope. I smaller than... Where did that comma come from? Nobody invited you. 5379. Okay, so... This one obviously is normal stick rules apply, and that's it. And now... Let's talk about it. It's kind of funny that the givens are independent from the solution, which obviously is not how Sudoku does it. So that's just a classic. Let's try this one at least. I mean, if I can't solve a classic quickly, right? 1, no, 3s. Oop, 3. 2. Wow, 8, 8, 8. 8, 8, 9s, 6s, 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 7s, 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 7. It's got to be here. 7s. 3s. 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 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not there. 2, 4, 8. Not there. 2, 4, 8. The 4 there. 4 there. 2, 8, 2. 1, 4. 1. 2. 1, 2, 3. 3, 9. All right. One goes here. 4, 5. 2 and 6, I believe. All right. 3, 5, 7. Oops. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. There we go. And 2, 5. Ooh, 6 goes here. And here. And 8. And that's 1, 9. And that's 4, 7. And that's 2 and 9. And these are 2 and 5. Oops. 5, 2. Here we get 9. And then here we have 1 and 5. So 1 here, 3, 4. We need a 7 here and 9 here. Alright, yay, I solved one. Okay, so that's the givens. Thermal we've done. But let's look at it anyways. So that's like that. Solve, copy, boom, boom. Thermo, Sudoku sample, and then thermometer rules. Boom. That on the top, so we can comment this one out. Yeah, I really definitely need to have multiple samples includable in an easy way. All right, so that looks okay. I think all the bulbs in the right places. We have given digits that work now. And my smart selection stuff should work. How long are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's do a full-on pencil mark. 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this can't be a 2, no 3, no 4, no 5, no 6, no 6, 7. That's got to be a 5. 3, 1. No 5. 1, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6, 6. No 4, no 5, no 6. 2, 3, oop. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. 6, 6, 7. No 5, no 4. Is that all the hints we're getting from these? 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Okay. 1, 1. 1, 1. Which means 1's here. No 1 here. Okay. 9's. Not here. Not here, 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 or here. Oh, not here, here. Only here. Let's mark this cell out because it's, I think, our most constrained cell. But that didn't actually help. 2's. Oh, that's not terrible. It's something. 2's here and here. Okay. Okay. 3's. Not great. 6's. 6's. 8's. I mean, we're naturally constrained by the... Oh, okay, wait a second. We're back up in this area. I forgot about that. 7 can go there, though. 8. 9 is there and there. Do we have a reverse thing on this side? Like with 2's, maybe? No. No. Not really. Not really. 3's. 3's. Do we have... Because I see some 7, 8, like high digits kind of crisscrossing. Like maybe we have some hidden triples and suchness. 5 is actually constrained on both ends, isn't it? Does that help? No, don't see it. Okay, let's do the basics again. Okay, so we have to have some sort of dependency where something is being low and high somewhere restricts something else. Like if this is a 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. Probably because they're all diagonal, they don't actually interact in that sense directly. Mostly. What about 6? Because we have a given 6 here. Does that draw anything? No. The 9s. Are they worth another look? I mean, 9 over here. That's not really useful. Surprisingly not that constraining. 3s. If there's a 3 here, 4 and 2, is that a problem at all? If that's a 2, that's a 3, that's a 4. 9, 7. And got a 9 over here. What about the 1s? The 1s are the most constrained. If I could resolve this box, maybe that would help. Like, is this... Can this be a 9? A 1. Or can this not be a 1? Let's put it that way. If this is a 1, this becomes a 3 at least. This becomes 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7. There's also not much pointing because there's no... Because it's all freaking diagonals, right? It's a surprisingly annoying puzzle. I don't know if it's tricky. It could be just my lazy way of solving... So I've trained myself too much on easier puzzles that I find it harder to see certain basic things that most people probably wouldn't find difficult to spot. Spot is the word. 8, 8, 8. Like, is there a way of excluding 8 on this line, for example? Like this, I don't see a reason why this can't be 6, 7, 9, right? 7, 9. This becomes a 9. 6, 7, 9. 6 makes that 7, 9. 7 makes that a 9. That 9 makes that a 7. No reason why that wouldn't work. Now if this is a 7, this becomes 6 and 8. 7, 8. 9, 6. Oh, come on. This was supposed to be an easy one. I don't know. I don't know where these samples are from. I'm guessing these are set by Side himself. But I'm curious if like some of these were potentially like, I don't know if they're old or new or there's some random puzzles. I'm curious. I gotta ask him. Or them. I don't actually know much about them. All right. I'm getting caught up. Killer we already have. We don't actually care about that. Arrows we have. Anti-night, anti-consecutive. So these are the global constraints. There's so many of those. I'm not actually too keen on implementing them all, but I guess I might as well take a peek at what they might look like. We want to solve this in the meantime. Anti-night, anti-night, anti-consecutive. And we have a solution. And we probably have an unsupported constraint here. Unknown constraint, anti-night, anti-consecutive. So these are just global. So this is fine. 192, 191, 193. Convert constraints, givens. Ah, okay, no, these are done. Right. Anti-night, anti-consecutive. Convert constraints. Global. So we'll just call these anti-night, anti-consecutive, consecutive. Now, I don't think... Hey guys, hey Toby, hey babe. I don't think I actually handle these specifically. Like, I don't know if I actually have any kind of support for these. Now, I could potentially be doing something in Sudokopad with the flags, but it's more likely to be happening in some sort of importer. Let's see if anywhere here we have a mention of anti-night. We do use these for rules alert. Rules include... So it's just... I think it's just looking at the puzzle text here. No, we do have global. Okay, so we do have global. Whoa. So... If I do... If I do... global... And then I'll say... So... Switch... Constraint 0. And then we'll say case... anti-night. And then we'll have something like this. Anti-night. Anti-night? Anti-night? I don't know. And then that's just true. Break. And then we have anti-consecutive, which I'm very sure I have no support for, because I don't think I've ever even considered looking into it. But that's fine. Part of this exercise is also to create the ideal data, even if the feature itself isn't actually supported. So now we should have global, but it comes out as an array. Yeah, no. So we're just gonna say puzzle if puzzle.global equals undefined. We're just gonna do puzzle global equals burp, and then we'll just say puzzle.global .antinight equals true. Right, and then that's just anti-consecutive true. And then it'll just be this. And the solution, I did the same thing again. I probably downloaded it instead of doing that. It's interesting that the constraint string is actually only 3 characters longer than the solution. Now, I don't know if anti-consecutive is a thing. If I say show scene cells, we've got anti-night under these global here. Non-consecutive. So we call it non-consecutive instead of anti-consecutive. Now, I actually like anti-consecutive better because it's the same kind of format, right? But legacy support is a thing. So we're actually going to call this non-consecutive. Now, non-consecutive doesn't show... wait. It doesn't allow 4 here. Oh, wait, does it allow 6? Yeah, it does. I mean, it'll... Yeah. It doesn't... I don't think there's a way of visualizing that in the checker at the moment. Wait, what? Check. Shows this off. Check on finish on. Anti-night and error. Okay, so... We can't have... Like these can't be 3. So it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's another 6, right? And that can't be a 6. So like these, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This can't be a 7. 1, 2, 3, can't be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. This can't be a 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can't be a 2. Alright. Anti-night. Okay, so shows seen cells. Does that? Shows seen cell. It should. Wait a second. Why does anti-night as a flag not work? So if I search for anti-night, we've got the rule alert. Does the rule alert? I'm not seeing the rule alert. Puzzle add meta. Puzzle anti-night. Puzzle global anti-night. Anti-king. If anti-night. Where is this? 549. Anti-night, anti-king. So, scene cage cells. Scene night matrix. So, puzzle info. Now, puzzle info in these cases. One second, this is gonna be a bit tricky to figure out. So if I look, like, why does it not sometimes not just take me there? Puzzle info. Get puzzle info. Come on, take me there. It sometimes doesn't scroll it to the right position. I don't know why. Disjoints, find, get subgroups, current, create puzzle info. Anti-night. Anti-king. Anti-night. It doesn't look at... It doesn't look at the globals? The thing is, this, whoops, the heck? Why is the music stopped again? What happened to the music? That song was just silent. I don't know what happened there. Rules. Like, I'm curious if this actually comes through. Is this disabled? Handle update alerts. Do I have to enable or disable this? Experimental. Handle. I don't think that's a flag. Rule alert. Visual. Ah, wait. Visual. Constraint alert on. Rules that includes not a function. Whoa. What? What? It is supposed to be an array. Oh. Did I? Okay. Maybe it does work. Maybe I'm just doing the wrong thing. That's kind of good, actually. All right, if this is working, I'll probably have to finish it soon. Okay. So do this now. Ah, look at that. I got the constraint alerts, but I don't think I have the scene cells. Yeah. Also, I don't think this is an easy puzzle, right? Is there... Alright, let me... So it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can't be 6. Alright, this can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can't be 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This can't be 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This can't be 2. Now 7 can't be here, here, or here. 5 can't be here, here, here. But it also can't be here. Like, I'm wondering if, because of the non-consecutive, we can limit certain things to certain things, right? It's a pity the anti-knight here just started. Well, we do have potentially support from the rules parsing. We'll just need to find a template of what these rules should be worded as from our dear Mr. James Sinclair. Night. Yeah, so we can maybe do this. See how that works out if I do this. I hope the rules parser would pick it up. Separated by a emphasis, knight's move in chess cannot contain the same digit. If I do this, right? Come back here. Open in Sudoku pad. Do we now get the knight's rule? Yeah, because I've basically neutered that rules parser because it was causing so many problems. I need to look into these a little bit better. I mean, they're technically supported as well as I can have them supported. There's a couple more that I should support. Sandwich, definitely. Lunchbox. But not today. I think it's a good start. I would have maybe... International Whispers. I don't even know what that means. I'd like to include a couple more lines, but probably not today. And for the lines, since I don't really treat them as rules, I can probably just wrap them up into a singular line parser, and then just have a set of styling. So that does make sense. So for example, we have entropic here, but we'll just have something like const line styles. Then we'll just have something like this. It'll be entropic, like that, and then it'll just have this basically in here, right? Let's rename this to line. So we'll do this. So if I do this, yeah, go back to our, you know what? Let's just do a quick, can I, if I just do this, can I get a French puzzle? Yes. So if I say composite constraints, no, custom, no. If I say entropic line, we'll just do this, add. Then we'll do a modular line. We'll do that, add. And then we'll do a palindrome. We'll do that, add. And then we'll do a renban, add. And region sum I just saw. So we'll do that, add that. And what else? I don't know what a sum line is. Whisper. Add. Now the region sum I think is supposed to be blue. Sets, thermometer. Zipper line. Add. And lockout line. I think these are all just different lines. Can we do diagonals? Yes, we can. Okay, let's just do this for a sec. Do this. Right. The solution is gonna be empty. I don't know what it actually will do with that. So, convergence constraint line entropic. So, entropic line will be a certain style. Let's also collapse these. Collapse that. Collapse that. So, we'll do object.assign, object assign. We have our waypoints. Right. We'll do this. We'll do that, that, comma. And then we'll have line styles. We'll capitalize it to pretend it's a constant, which it technically is, but you know, JavaScript. Line styles. Constraint 0. And then that goes in here. Like that. So if I do this, we get entropic lines. Why do we get 2 lines? We have 1 entropic line. Where does the other line come from? What? Wait, what? Hmm? Where does the other line come from? Yes, yes, alright guys, I got it. I gotta wind it down. I'm guessing it is from one of the other constraint parsers. Interpreter, Mario, Palindrome, Random, Region, Sum, Whisper. Whisper! Ah, yes, Whisper. Let's see if we convert this to the line constraint thing. Get rid of this for a sec here. Right. If I do this, it kind of it'll break a little bit. A little bit. So what we want to do then here is we want to do a Whisper 5 style, and it's this color and this thickness, and we wow, Whisper, that's completely misspelled. And for now, we'll do something like this. Switch, constraint, blah, blah, blah. Boom, boom. Default, throw on no known line constraint. Unknown line constraint, case entropic, Why are you doing that? Line. Let line style. Line style. Line style equals that. And then this is line style. Right? And then here we'll do case whisper. I guess we'll also do points line style. And then here we'll do line style is that. And then points equals this. Boom. Break. And this is just points. Let's give it a little bit of breathing space. Happy little code lines. Right? And then this is slice 2. And then this is something like this. Whoops. Dash 1. 1. So does that make whispers work? Whisper constraint line. Whisper 5. Right, and then we kind of just run down the different styles. So for example, artisanal Sudoku zipper. Do we have a style for zipper? No, but we have a style for this thing, which is a random line. So we'll have Renban with this color and a thickness of 9.6. That is a chunky line. And Renban, unconstrained because we haven't done it here. So Renban, for example, will work the same way as Entropic. Right? Renban. Oh, we need to also add it here. Tropic, Whisper, Renban. Slam bam, Renban, man. Okay. Yeah. And then we'll do the same thing. Region sum. We'll do something like that. Maybe we'll find one with region sums. Yeah. Let's take this one. And then region sum styling. Thanks, James. James, I didn't ask yet, but I'm gonna use your styles. And we'll deal with you if in case you don't like that, we'll change it later. Whoops. All right, region sum line. Okay, this will be the last one we'll do, and then I have to call it. Today was a bit of a different episode. To be honest, more the kind of episodes I want to do, but I have so much stuff I need to sort out at the moment that unfortunately I can't always do the kind of episodes I want to do. So you see, lockout, for example, has a second argument. Region sum does not. Region sum thickness is... That's the color with the transparency of 255. That's weird. Wait. The same thickness as the Renban. Is that right? Region sum line. Region sum line. That is not the right color. I think that's supposed to be the color. That nice blue. Look at that. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna work my way through the rest of the lines, and I'll probably. I might not do the ones with the double-ended arrows, like the less frequent ones, and then I'll probably put it up for testing before I continue implementing more of the constraints. But I think we've made a good start. And then maybe I can talk to Sai about getting a bunch of complex puzzles as a as reference. Maybe he's got some puzzle that has all the features in it that I can use for testing. Let's get rid of some of these extra warnings that I've added to make it less messy. It's just that one. All right. And you know, this part of this process is also for me that maybe I can implement non-constitutive. Maybe I can add anti-night checking without having to go through the text parser of the rules and stuff. Like these are the little things that doing this kind of work, even though it's not directly improving the engine, can have the side effect of letting me improve the engine, because otherwise it's very hard to kind of do it out of a vacuum. You gotta work with a thing to figure out what the thing needs to do and how it works and all that. All right, that's it for today. Bit of a more traditional feature work episode, but also hopefully working on some things that will be useful to people. This ISS format is relatively simple, and using my URL methods and some features I had planned, it should make it very easy to literally just add a open in SudokuPad button here. And I might actually suggest that. What is the graph? Ooh, I see. Ooh. All right. Okay, this is a really cool tool. I mean, I like the simplicity of it. Sudoku Maker is complex. This also has quite a few features. Pretty cool. Cool things. Ooh, load bit debug mode. What does that do? Huh. Maybe it doesn't work with the local version. Don't know. All right, that's it. Take care. Thanks for hanging out. And as usual, Toby hears me saying my goodbyes. He wants some attention, which he rightfully deserves. Thanks for hanging out, and you know, feel free to stop by the channel on the Discord, send me an email, hit me up on social media, whatever. I always love to hear feedback of how the app is used, what people would like to see, and so on and so forth. And sometimes it'll trigger me to fix just the thing you would like fixed. So that can always happen. All right, take care. Have a good rest of your day, and bye-bye. See you in the next one.